Yeah, good stuff. So we wanna show you how serious the flat earthers are. They love to call out people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and your colleague Brian Cox and other prominent scientists for debates. They're always doing it. I personally don't debate them, mainly because it annoys them, but Catz has had a few battles with them as well. But we'd like to show you just, and the people at home who don't know, just how serious and stubborn they are. And that's what we're going to do as we play Flat Earth Dust Up. Right, I said I didn't have enough I didn't have enough budget for a jingle, so there's no jingle for this one, I'm afraid. So using your background in science, I'm going to invite you to give some globe evidence, and Catz will respond as a typical flat earther and how a flat earther would, using science that is in existence as well as their own made-up science. And we'll just show you how difficult and slimy they are.
Right, well, I suppose the obvious one to start with is, in fact, my sister just rang now, and my sister lives in Tasmania, and it's night, and at the time that we're actually recording this, it's fully daylight, it's lunchtime here in the UK, and she was about to go to bed in Tasmania. So what's all that about then?
Yeah, but you're pre-assuming that the Earth is a globe and pre-assuming that where your sister is, she's on a side of the planet that can't be seen. You're pre-assuming that could work on any shape of planet. You've just presupposed a globe and then use that to affirm your bias.
But how is it? So why is it dark where she is, and it's the middle of the day where I am? So it's the middle of the night. I know that. She was saying, "I'm just going to bed. The sun's gone down here." So the sun. So how does the sun go down when it's a flat Earth?
Well, it reaches the vanishing point. Now, the vanishing point is where we have the limited diffraction or the limit of diffraction, which causes something to disappear bottom up because the angle between the sun and the ground gets so small, it's below the Rayleigh criterion, so your eye cannot resolve it anymore.
So hang on, can you just tell me, so that seems to require an incredible distance that is a lot more. So if I was, for instance, flying to Australia, then, and that's enough, we'll deal later on with the change that when I'm on a flight, is that also diffraction with the fact that I will be moving into darkness of night a lot quicker quite often if I'm flying on a plane than if I was just remaining where I was? Is that also down to the diffraction element?
Well, again, you're invoking models there, aren't you? You're invoking the model of a globe Earth or a presupposed shape of a flat Earth that I've got to now describe how those phenomena work. The fact is we don't know.
So how far is, in fact, in reality, how far is London to Sydney? Because for that change in the light from the daylight to the nighttime, and for on a flat surface with a sun, I mean, where does the sun just move in a line? Where does the sun actually go in terms of, does it go back and forth in a line? Is that also moving in a plane in a straight line rather than, as we'd previously supposed, that we were kind of going round it? Is that not how it's working? Because are we moving, or is the sun moving?
Well, we don't really know what the luminaries are. And, you imagine an optical phenomena like a rainbow, which appears in a different position for all observers, yet we know it's all there. It could be something like that. So we just don't know. So you can't rely on visual phenomena and observations to determine the shape of the Earth when you're looking at the sun, unless you can prove it's a tangible substance, unless you can prove it can be touched and measured and tell me how far away it is.
Do we know why the Earth ended up being flat, whereas the other planets that we can observe from a telescope and also the other celestial objects do not appear to be flat?
Well, we don't claim at all to know the dimensions of anything. We're intellectually honest about that. We don't know it. But what we do know is that water lies level. And if you've got water here, why should it change its behavior over a long a huge space? We don't know. So again, you're invoking models and ideas of gravity and all sorts. All we're saying is our observations tell us it's stationary and flat. So
I suppose I'm not invoking a model so much there as actually if I get my telescope out and I start to look at things, and I look at the moon and then I look at some of the other planets as well, maybe Saturn and the rings of Saturn, that they do not appear to be flat from actual observation. So do we know what it would have been, what led to our planet being a flat planet?
Well, listen, if you go into my sock drawer, you'll see that all the socks in my drawer are black. Right? That doesn't mean that the socks I've got on my feet are black. I mean, they are black, but They wouldn't have to be black. This one could be a white one. So you're using that same kind of logic.
Oh no, I suppose no. I'm just interested because because we've got such a lot of kind of theories and testable theories in terms of the shapes that. I presumed if you're going to be really wedded to the idea of a flat Earth, that you would also have some theory as to why this planet, unlike the other planets, would have taken a shape which is entirely different to all the other celestial objects that we're able to observe through telescopes. Because that seems very odd, because if we look around our solar system and we see that every other planet has not taken on a flat form, and yet we have. And I would have thought you must have come up with some theory, some scientific theory as to why that would have occurred.
Well, you simply can't determine anything about the ground you stood on by looking at the sky. And also, we don't know what those luminaries are. They could be absolutely anything. But how do we know they're round? How do you know they're not a disk?
Well, I suppose that when we've actually in various different projects involving Voyager and Cassini and things like that. So when those images that have been taken and those observations have been taken, we do know from the journeys of those vehicles that those objects that we've observed are round, as well as just being able to actually see that they're round through telescopes.
You're appealing to us. Oh, sorry, go on, Dan.
I was going to say, hit him with the thermodynamics.
Well, you're invoking space there and the idea of space. A, you've never been to space, but B, space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics because the law of entropy says that gas can move from areas of high pressure to low pressure. So how do we have an atmosphere next to the vacuum of space? You can't have these probes in imaginary space because it's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Game over, mic drop.
Okay, so the main thing is that you just don't answer anything ever and just say we don't know.
That is exactly it. So that was a really good so they are slippery. They like to use science. They make their own science up. So all the stuff with the diffraction limit and stuff, they've made up a lot of that stuff, haven't they, Catz?
Everything I said there, and I'm not lying to you, everything I said there is an argument that we've heard from flat earthers. I didn't make any of that up. No. That's stuff that we just hear so often.